Good afternoon, everyone. Dear colleagues and researchers, it is a pleasure for me to share this meeting on this special day, the Environment Day. First, as a preliminary analysis of some of the main problems facing contemporary society, including global warming, deforestation, population growth, fossil fuel consumption, the spread of emerging diseases, and the unfolding climate crisis. These phenomena are developing in a context marked by hyperconsumption, uncertainty, the collapse of public health systems, and rise of information and communication technology. Within these frameworks, we will propose an initial reflection on how environmental communication and the climate emergence interrelate under the growing impact of digital technology. In the current context of global ecological emerging, environmental communication has ceased to be a mere channel of information and has become a strategic and contested field, influenced by political, economic, and technological interests. Unlike traditional approach focused solely on the dissemination of scientific data, it is now recognized that providing information is not enough. It requires building critical understanding, mobilizing collective will, and challenging the dominant discourse that perpetuates climate inaction. Currently, multiple phenomena are converging to form an unprecedented environmental, health, technological, and social crisis. Scientific research has confirmed that we are experiencing the sixth mass extinction, characterized primarily by the accelerated loss of biodiversity, especially of invertebrates, due to direct human actions. This process is intensifying in a scenario dominated by climate change, uncontrolled population growth, and an economic model based on hyperconsumption. The relationship between the climate crisis and the COVID-19 pandemic is a paradigmatic example of how environmental change directly impacts human health. This interconnection between nature and health demands a coordinated response between state, scientific institutions, and global citizens, especially with regards to ecosystem protection and greenhouse gas mitigation. The situation is deforestation, a phenomenon aggravated by extractive practice and agricultural and urban expansion. As Garcia Marin points out, forest loss is among the main ecological problems of the present, directly impacting climate regulation and habitat loss. At the same time, the growing global population, especially concentrated in countries like China, India, and Japan, poses challenges related to resource distribution and access to drinking waters, energy, and food. In this context, fossil fuel consumption remains one of the main sources of polluting gas emissions. The paradox is that global discourse promotes renewable energy, the use of coal, gas, and oil continues to increase, compromising international climate commitments. This energy dilemma is exacerbated by the fact that millions of people still lacks basic access to energy. At the same time, digital technology also presents as solutions to confining and isolation during the pandemic. It also contribute to environment degradation from device manufacturing to consumption, and in addition to the energy footprints of cloud storage, digital infrastructures generate a significant carbon footprint. According to Greenpeace, up to 80% of a mobile phone's emission come from its production phase. The accelerated life cycle of these products and their rapid obsolescence foster an unsustainable consumption model. Massive internet traffic and the growth of digital platforms during the pandemic highlight the global dependence on technology. Services like YouTube, Amazon, and TikTok generate colossal amounts of data per minute, intensifying the energy consumption of data centers and challenge the current model of digital development. Added to this, in the environment impacts of emerging technology, like the metaverse, artificial intelligence, and blockchains, whose operation requires enormous amounts of energy. In social and cultural terms, we are observing an expansion of hyperconsumption and phenomena described by authors such as Lipovetsky and Bauman. In a world plagued by uncertainty, consumption becomes a symbolic institute for well-being, while perpetuating economic models that exploit resources and promote inequalities. This behavior is also reflects in eating habits, with the rise of fast foods, the effect of which on public health and have been widely documented. Faced with this situation, it is urgent to rethink contemporary lifestyles, promote effective regulatory frameworks, foster environment and technological education, and promote a global dialogue that prioritizes sustainability and collective well-being over short-term interests. The so-called climate emergency has accelerated the need for effective and committed environment communication. However, this urgency can also become a narrative trap where the immediate message is not properly contextualized. Run the risk of producing desmobilization, anxiety, and eco-fatigue. In this context, the contemporary digital ecosystem presents itself as a double-edged sword. While it engages the circulation of content, it also fragments attention, promotes superficial consumption of information, and in many cases reproduces technocratic or neoliberal discourse about the solution to climate change. Well, this is the end. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much.